Hello, my name is Julie Wester. I am 26 years old and I live over in Port St. Joe, Florida. I'm a full-time student and I go to class 3 days a week, plus I take one online class. I teach a 2-year-old class from 7:45 to 2:45 every day, and I give horseback rides on the beach and horseback riding lessons on Wednesday, Fridays, and some Saturdays. I am married, I have 6 horses, and 3 dogs. I wanted to give a little bit of my background so everyone could understand my life a little better and get to know me. Yes, it is busy. I'm sure some of your schedules are just as packed as mine, though. I have discovered that life is fleeting, and we should make the most of it. We could be enjoying a moment of beauty and bliss one moment, and be in agony or gone in another. Life is short, and we should make the most of it. First, I would like to tell a story that took place on a beautiful summer day a couple of years ago. I was up in Weewahitchka, where we call the farm. It's where my parents live, and I keep my horses up there most of the time. They have 7 acres to run around, and they get plenty of exercise that way. I was given horseback riding lessons this one particular day, and we had decided to tack the horses up at the farm and then go for a ride around the block. The 2 girls that I had that day were about 9 and 11 years old, and they had probably been riding for about a year with me. Next, we headed out from our farm on our ride. I was exhausted because I had already worked a full day, but I knew that once I got going I would enjoy the ride. I had always promised myself that I would never let the horses cut into our budget, so I would always find a way to make them pay for themselves. I was riding a beautiful paint horse that day named Apache. I often keep what I call a project horse, and I'll buy them for cheap and then I'll put some training on them and resell them later on. Apache was my project at this time, and I was trying to work the kinks out. I could not find a picture of him, but this is a picture of the kind of horse that he is. Paints are one of the most beautiful horses in the world, but my philosophy is you can't always ride pretty. The pretty horses are full of themselves sometimes. Anyway, Apache was really not that bad, he just was mischievous and needed some riding time. As we were on our ride, we passed by a cattle field and had about 25 head of cattle in it. We often looked over and watched the new baby calves play as we were going by, and all of a sudden one of the girls said, "That cow's about to have a baby." And I said, "I don't think so. She's still eating grass." She was still grazing. And the little girl said, "She is too." And I was just sitting there and I was tired and I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. And then all of a sudden she dropped and started pushing. I told the girls to stop, and we sat there and watched her give birth to the beautifulest baby black calf that had 4 socks and a white blaze down his face. The whole birth only took about 15 minutes from start to finish. I was amazed. The girls thought it was so neat to see because they both lived in town and had not been exposed to that much of the farm life. Well, as we were sitting there, Apache started to get bored. He kept turning his head around and trying to bite my stirrup, which is what you put your foot in the saddle. When he would try, I would simply just pull his head around and redirect him to the front and tell him to stop. Well, as you can imagine, after he did this about 5 times, I started to get aggravated. So the next time he tried, I snatched his head around. Well, when I did that, Apache jumped, and he was so startled that he somehow managed to lodge the stirrup in his mouth. Then he totally freaked out. He reared up and fell over on top of me. I was okay. I was just badly bruised, and I was a little sore all over from the jolt. The two speechless little girls were not injured, but they just couldn't say a word. Finally, I said all of that to say, life is fleeting, and we never know what the next moment might bring. I was watching a beautiful birth of a baby calf, and then in the next moment, an 1,100-pound animal was trying to crush me. I was fine, and I got back on Apache, and I rode him home, but it made me think about what could have happened. Therefore, we should live each moment of our life like there is no tomorrow, because it is possible that there will be no tomorrow.